Alright, hit the button. Yeah, video. Alright, so the, whatever, Pedersen, something, some kind of silly name like that. Let's see if this camera's all the way now. Posted a link to this, whatever, propaganda video, 375,000 views, blah, blah, blah. Everything about this whole mechanism is, it's just propaganda everywhere. Everywhere is just a manipulation and distortion of perspective to make something look good, and it just kind of sucks. I mean, this whole rating system, thumbs up, thumbs down, it doesn't really mean anything because people just naturally have a less of a tendency to boo than they have to applaud, kind of a thing. It's just a fact. It's kind of, you really want to save it for something that just, it just has to be done, booing. It's not something you do casually. Where applauding is, yeah, so what? Good job. Yeah, oh yeah, you look fabulous. We just tend to be optimistic or whatever. So there's a lie built into the structure of this whole presentation mechanism where these ratings don't really have anything to do with reality. They just have to do with this distortion. So anyway, this Black Pigeon speaks, whatever, one of these, propagandists against women for whatever reason. So let me reiterate. Women have periods and they get pregnant and they don't have a penis, and yet you you assholes think they're somehow the less burdened sex or something. You're idiots, you're jerks, you're fools, you're men. So anyway, so the whole premise anyway that men have successfully built nations, not destroyed nations, is idiotic, right? Why women destroy nations? No, I think men vote for those wars more often than not. It was men who sent us to go kill the Muslims. It is just a fact. There wouldn't have been any Democratic presidents in the last 100 years if it wasn't for women. Women have made the difference. Men vote for stupid, moronic, rich people and assholes who have. They think having is important, so they say, oh, the havers got to know what they're doing. They by tendency. And again, this is just talking out of what we culturally create in people. We create men who are insecure, and we create women who are more secure, because we have different standards for the definition of what success is, and I suppose a more decisive standard for women. Women have to find their niche much sooner than men. I mean, they find out what they are. You're either pretty or you're not pretty, kind of a thing. So you're either a woman that's going to have to get by on her charm, mentally or physically, where men don't have the same kind of standard. But anyway, but it's all this. We raise people to be men and women. They're not naturally some sort of thing, except you might say that women are. We see with different eyes. Women see with eyes that are emotionally rich, so they're less visually rich, and men are more visual, like recognizing square, round, very high contrast visually, and emotionally deader, or emotionally also more decisive, more contrast, more either right or wrong, where women are more, oh, let me think about that. But again, who wants to talk this kind of generalization? The real point is that the structure of what we have been traditionally has been dictated by how we raise people. And women were raised without power, without access to much of the control mechanisms throughout history. And so this whole, he makes this argument as if, well, look at history. What have women made? Yeah, well, that's because women weren't allowed to make anything, you idiot. And if you find one or two civilizations or one or two moments in history where women were in power, they didn't seem to be any different than men. So it's a bullshit argument. So I guess we'll see how much bullshit goes in. Oh, so he spends the first, whatever, 2-3 minutes yammering about how I'm not really, it's not your fault. It's not your fault you're a woman. You know, these are just the facts. Sorry, just the facts. I don't have anything against you. Yeah, bullshit. You obviously have a small penis, Mr. Pigeon. I mean, it just, you know, it's just such a waste of time. It's like the IQ argument again. You know, what ruins people is not a 10% or less IQ. What turns people, stupid cat, into blight is you know, magnitudes higher deficits, you know, in their function, in their knowledge, in their understanding of what it is to be alive. And that's really what this argument comes down to. All people can be smart enough to know that their emotions aren't logical, that their personal interest is not something that should be given any influence in deciding what is best for the collective, those kind of things. Those are the principles that we've sort of put into constitutions. This is sort of an understanding that this personal shit shouldn't fuck the game. And so that's something we can all understand, man or woman. And I guess I would argue that the evidence of how useless men have been, traditionally, can be seen in the fact that as women gain their independence from their emancipation, what do they try to do? They try to compete in the man's these vocabulary, the structure that men have built. So they just end up becoming, I could fart, you know, instead of doing something brilliant.
On any group or gender in this video, I'm only trying to explain how I see the world that we've all inherited.
Well, again, you inherited through what process? So he's trying to make an argument that this is some sort of, you know, unavoidable thing, when this is a completely avoidable thing. You know, that there's no rational argument that could be made that women are incapable of logic. It's just stupid to say something like that. And it's clear that men are capable of illogic, and it's just stupid to sit there and sexize this kind of a conversation, a rational conversation about what the differences between men and women are. There are differences, physical ones, quite obviously, hormonal differences, you know, biorhythm differences, and none of that has to have anything to do with rationally recognizing square and round. Betrayal.
And let's get this out in the
I just, you know, all this, you know, yes, this works, okay, yes, do this cinematography thing, you know, but it's just, this is the nature of propaganda.
Women are not very good at being loyal to the tribe. They never...
Not very good at... what is that? I mean, it's just a statement, right, of what evidence are we going to have of that lack of loyalty. Their loyalty to their husbands seems pretty dramatic throughout history. The price they've paid for the reckless behavior of their men, they certainly have paid the price for that. You know, they invest in it, and he goes off to war, gets killed, and, you know, she's stuck, you know, having to pick up the pieces. Certainly their loyalty couldn't be questioned in World War II. You know, it's just a silly thing to say.
Never have been, they never will be. The reason is it's not in their nature to do so. Women.
I mean, this is the kind of argument. It's not in their nature. It's just stupid. You know, you can go through all of nature and you're going to find differences between the female and the male, but they're just not going to be that dramatic. I mean, I don't know statistically what it is, but I'm sure just as many female lions have eaten people as male lions. Same for crocodiles. I'm sure there's not a huge difference between the old girly crocodile eating you and the maley crocodile eating you.
Throughout history have shown time and time again, they're quick to seek the favors of men they feel are stronger and more dominant. Whether...
This is just like anecdotal things. Oh, you mean the women who just, sell out to their personal advantage, like men who sell out to their personal advantage. So you could argue that both the generals in the army and the prostitutes that gain power or gain importance through association, are they guilty of some kind of different crime but self-interest? No, I don't think so, fuckface.
They're part of their in-group or not. Recent examples of this, besides Japanese...
So this is his definition of women. So women are possessions of the Nazi, are dancing girls, or some other stuff. So, that's just real class, right? Yeah. Cheap argument.
Or Vietnamese war brides come from Europe and are illustrated by the countless numbers of Belgian, French, Dutch, what have you, women that took up relations with...
Right. People in poverty do what they have, they sell what they got, and what we know is that a homeless man has nothing to sell, right? I mean, a poor man is a useless sack of shit. Doesn't really have anything to sell, right? I mean, a man with his value is his labor. If he doesn't have that, he has no value to society. No one wants to know him. No one wants to smell him. No one wants to do a damn thing, because he's not fuckable. Alright, so we know that's a difference. Yes, men wish to possess women. Women aren't as in need of a man's company. They won't go find a good fuckable, on Horse Street. They won't go looking up some homeless guy and say, boy, I need a bang. Where a man would. Right? I mean, men will fuck crack whores with AIDS. They have like a 50%. They're like, well, I'm 50% sure she has AIDS. It'd be really stupid to have sex with her, but I'll wear a condom and I'll be They start rationalizing excuses. Yes, and women will never be desperate enough to say, oh yeah, that lice-infested homeless guy. Ooh.
German military personnel. And this was only a short time ago.
I mean, what they call this, the Hitler... He's throwing the Hitler card in this conversation. I mean, yeah. No, the feminazis are coming. The feminazis are coming. I mean, that's like a cliche or something. Morgan's paradox or whatever the fuck they call it. I mean, fuck. But that's propaganda, right? So isn't that funny? Like, the whatever nation known for the word propaganda became a word, the whole Freudian control thing. That's what Nazis were all about, control the message. That's all this asshole, that's all you're doing, Nazi pigeon. You do have the Nazi colors, of course. Not a coincidence, I guess.
When Nazis were defeated and social stability was restored, they were punished for their betrayal and transgressions against their people. Now, not only are women not punished for inviting alien and unassimilatable armies of men into the West, they then vote for parties that force the entire society to have its national...
Yeah, they vote for parties like Democrats. Ooh, people who care about like Social Security or something. Ooh, the horror.
Wealth redistributed to this army.
Yes, the wealth redistributed to, working people. Yeah, that would be really cool. Let's give the money to the workers, the ones who actually produce, the ones who actually sacrifice to produce, and fuck the inherited wealthy, like you. right? No doubt. No doubt you inherited your money. No doubt you have inheritance. Yeah, there's just no doubt.
Of aggressive and hostile men. And women who are in positions of power even openly.
So this was more the game. Let's take advantage wherever we can. If we can find some ugly pictures, or if they're just an ugly person, let's just take advantage of it wherever we can. Oh, that's just such class.
Celebrate the destruction that they bring upon their people and openly taunt those that seek to retain their culture and civilization from obliteration.
Look, she's not fuckable enough. See, I can make her look like an unfuckable. Therefore, she's of no value. I mean, wow. Yo, shit. Cliche.
As in the following video of German politician Dr. Steffi von Berg in Hamburg.
Frau Präsidentin, meine Damen und Herren.
I really don't need to do this. You know. You seem to have an obsession with Germany.
Unsere Gesellschaft wird sich ändern. Unsere Stadt wird sich radikal verändern. Ich bin der Auffassung, dass wir in 20, 30 Jahren gar keine ethnischen Mehrheiten mehr haben in unserer Stadt. Das ist das, was wir haben werden in der Zukunft. Und ich sage Ihnen noch ganz deutlich,
And I want to make it very clear, especially towards those right-wingers.
gerade hier in Richtung rechts, das ist gut so.
This is good. So he didn't even get. I didn't. Our nation will change. She took out the part where I guess she said what kind of change is going to be, but I guess Brownie's going to take over. Yeah, well, that's inevitable on a world scale. That's what's going to happen. Yes, that's going to happen because the predominance of the white races are in modern civilizations that have rational practices in terms of behavior. So they don't have 17 kids. They don't have the expectation that God will provide. They're not ignorant, and that's the biggest part of it, right? So yes, the ignorant will take over the world. I mean, Jesus was wrong. It won't be the meek, it'll be the stupid will inherit the earth.
And as our societies become ever more dangerous because of people like Ms. von Berg, and even though...
Jeez. Wow. Scary, scary. A politician that you have the choice to vote for. These people are the dangerous ones. The ones who don't want to do the democracy thing. I don't want democracy. I don't want a fair fight. I'm going to throw rocks, or I'm going to burn something down, or I'm going to extort you to do what I say. So I'm really against this kind of... I mean, either have a revolution all the way, or don't. But this little pussy half revolution shit, no. That's just waste.
Women can take steps to protect themselves. The primary responsibility for protection will probably always belong to men.
Well, will probably. Again, just a completely unproven statement, okay? I mean, there have been countries like Israel where the whole women go ahead, put on your butch murder suit and go be a murderer, and they've done just perfectly fine at murdering. You give them the task, be a murderer, be a mass murderer, yes, they'll go do it. So, no evidence of any of this crap.
This is very important. Women will thus only have as much freedom as their men are willing or capable of guaranteeing them.
Well, again, men must somehow provide, and, that's just bullshit. You just can't deal with the fact that men, okay, traditionally are shark food. Males the attrition numbers are high, because that's the game for men, is attrition. For most. And that's nature's rule, and it's a stupid rule. And we sort of changed that, right? Throughout human history, it's changed, okay? In the long past, if you wanted to have a kingdom, you had to be kind of butch and kind of force it yourself. And then we got to a point where, it was more about just being somebody smart enough to, connive their way into a good plan, like a Napoleon or something. You didn't have to be the biggest, strongest guy. You just had to be able to wield power.
So the question begs, why do women do this? Why do women betray their in-group? And how is...
Well, again, it's him. Betray their in-group. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Do I have an in-group that I'm loyal to? Do I? Yeah. Where would that be?
the current situation different from those that preceded it? Well, in a word, enfranchised.
Sports, 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 sports. Yes, I mean, come on. You know, I mean, that's, women ought to just make the reciprocal video to this and just show men at the arena with their spongy fingers on their hands and we're number one. Tipping over cars because their team won the big game.
Women have been given the vote, and in a democratic society, they vote their biological imperative.
Oh, fuck that. I mean, it's just so stupid. They vote their biological imperative. It's just stupid. I mean, stupid. I don't know. There's nothing else to say. What's male's biological imperative? Let's see. I mean, I guess you'd have to see what the demographics are. I mean, I think it's mostly men who vote for these anti-abortion things and men who preserve marriage. I think they're men. I think it's men who are scared of the gay people. So, they seem to be. They have a strange self-interest. It seems to me is to be locked in a marriage, and phobic. About what? Oh, somebody's going to get more than you. Oh, yeah, that's why they're against abortion, by the way. They don't want somebody else having fun sex, if they can't. Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason why there's any laws against abortion.
Now, what do I mean by this? Well, recent genetic research has shown that before the modern era, 80% of women managed to reproduce, while only 40% of men did.
Yes, well, that's nature's basic rule. It's even worse for many mammal populations. It's more like 1 or 2 or 5% of the males reproduce, and the rest of them are shark food.
The obvious conclusion from this is that a few top men had access to multiple women, while the bottom 60% of men had no mating prospects at all.
Well, it's not that they didn't have any at all. It's that they either one. Yeah, they didn't want to buy no cows. They didn't want the obligations that come with that. They don't want children because it's a pain in the ass, frankly. I mean, look, rogue elephants fuck for fun because they don't have any obligation, okay? They have sex and then they see ya. I hope it all works out for you guys. The whole kid thing and everything, because, yeah, I really don't do that.
Women clearly didn't mind sharing the top man with a dozen other women, ultimately deciding...
Well, again, this hasn't gone on for like hundreds of years, so this is kind of silly, Most people don't need to be Mormons or something, They don't need harems anymore. Well, whether they need it or not, it's hard to say, right? I mean, there are lots of men having a little bit on the side. Somehow they can't get their interest up.
That being one of many women sharing...
No, they're being unloyal. They're disloyalty. Men are disloyal. See, it's propagandized.
A man who leads was still more preferable than having the undivided attention of a man who serves.
A man who leads and a man who serves and a man who cheats. Yeah, why don't you talk about the men who cheat? The ones who get big, giant inheritances and then pretend they're self-made men. Oh yeah, that guy. Why don't you just zoom in on this guy's not terribly attractive mug?
Commenting on this, Roy Baumeister, a prominent social psychologist who teaches at Florida State University, had this to say.
Who cares?
It would be shocking if these vastly...
So he plays the woman's clip in German, and yet he does this with this guy. I'm sure there's a video of him saying some of this shit. It would be
different reproductive odds for men and women.
It would be shocking if these vastly different reproductive odds for men and women failed to produce some personality differences. Well, no one's arguing there aren't differences between men and women, but again, none of the differences exclude us from being rational. None of them. So all of them make it possible for you to understand that, yes, OJ cut his wife's head off. Now, the fact that you can find select groups within these classes that are ignorant and stupid and don't even understand their own psychology enough to know what a selfish cunt they are, and they're just acting out of a bigotry or a hate or a pettiness. I mean, the fact that we haven't educated people to understand that they're just need machines in the world, and that most of these needs are just a contrived pile of conditioned crap, that they've been exposed to a certain world that says, you know, McDonald's hamburger, yummy yummy, broccoli, ooh, smelly skanky. And it's not anything that has to do with what broccoli is or a McDonald's hamburger is in reality. It just has to do with what we've been conditioned to desire. And that is it makes you a small. You're using a little tiny bit of your potential as a thinking device if you allow your programming to be owned by that Microsoft cheat. It's like the old days when Microsoft, well, it's still the new days. It's Google now, right? Google does this all the time, right? Everything you touch, Google says, do you want to add this to Google this? Do you want us to vacuum your rug? Do you want us to, they're into everything, all this manipulation. Yeah. And so you've got to understand that the initial programming by the stupid culture and by your idiotic parents, all that crap was just crap. That's all Google crap. And that you weren't, because you were a kid, you weren't smart enough to hit the cancel button or the little X and not get immersed in their crap. So you got Facebooked.
Men failed to produce some personality differences. He went on. For women, the optimal thing to...
sociologist, what the fuck does he know about biology? Oh, that's right, nothing. For women, the optimal thing to do is go along with the crowd, be nice, play it safe, blah, blah, blah. Or not. It depends on where you are as a woman. The odds are good that men will come along and offer sex. And offer sex? No, what they'll... and you'll be able to have babies. Oh. Again, these are things that women have changed their minds on, okay? I mean, women are choosing not to have kids because they're seeing that, oh yeah, this is going to be something I'm stuck taking care of for 18 years because he's not going to do shit. And all that matters is choosing the best offer. We're descended from women who played it safe. And again, the same argument could be made is that men then are descended from men. We're descended from men who were reckless, greedy, possessive. You could just do the other extreme, that the men who did get often got by cheating. So he's going to pretend that the men who got to the top were always honorable, decent, fair fighters, when the truth is that often they don't have to be like Napoleons and Hitlers and all this other kind of stuff. You don't have to be a fair fighter anymore. You don't have to be the biggest and the strongest. You don't have to survive some ordeal, some test of your veracity or manhood, some tribal test like in Indians or something. Yeah, you don't have to prove your devotion to the clan in the same kind of way. Inheriting money is not devotion to the clan.
Do is to go along with the crowd, be nice, play it safe. The odds are good that a man will come along and offer sex and you'll be able to have babies. All that matters is choosing the best offer. We're descended from women who played it safe.
We're descended from men who were assholes. Yeah.
For men, the outlook was radically different. If you go along with the crowd and play it safe, the odds are you won't have children. Most men who ever lived did not have any descendants who are alive today. Their lines were dead ends. Hence, it was necessary to take chances, try new things, be creative, explore a...
Oh yeah, so be creative, be a cheater is just another way of saying be a cheater. Find a gimmick, find a little crooked road to travel around. Stab them in the back. It works. See, animals just don't have those kind of mechanisms. I mean, if they had knives, their world would be even more ugly, correct? They had guns and they could just sniper each other. It would be really quite disgusting, wouldn't it? But they have to fair fight, sort of. They don't have the opportunity. I mean, they can do it sometimes. They gang up, you know, like 10 lions will gang up on one lion to dethrone him. So there are cheaters, but there's a lot less cheating.
There are possibilities. Many societies, including the West, long ago devised a simple plan to stop the inherent infighting that occurs because a large majority of men in the in-group don't have sexual access to women or the ability to reproduce legitimate children.
Reproduce legitimate children, like that makes a difference. When you were just making a biological argument, legitimacy wouldn't have anything to do with the biological argument, wouldn't it? It wouldn't. So the truth is that there's no connection really between legitimacy, the winners having more children than the losers. By percentages, more losers are having children, men-wise. Right? The negative end of the male spectrum is, regardless of what their lack of access is, they're still having more kids. Because again, we have a system where smart men don't assume liabilities. Men who have a fortune to lose understand that children will eat their fortune. Men who have nothing to lose can have all the children they want because they have nothing to, they don't have to pay child support.
The entire basis of Western society was the male agreement to keep only one woman in public, so that every male has near equal chance at reproduction. It's for this reason that organized and advanced civilizations have always needed to agree on the equitable distribution of women.
Oh, whatever. That where does that come to? Where that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. There's no such agreement. I don't even, what is that? I don't even know what form would that take. I don't know what law is there that is somehow forcing equitable distribution. Oh, you mean laws against polygamy? Well, even states where they have that, are you telling me the people are better quality or something? Come on, get real.
So as to incentivize its men to produce and have a stake in the society's health and security. But this, like other cultures...
I mean, this is just some sort of king argument or something. Somehow the blue bloods had blue blood. No, they had shitty blood. Their bloodlines sucked. They weren't strong. They were incredibly weak people, and all they had was power. And yes, power is seductive. You can buy anything with money. This is what money makes. It makes ships. It makes all this kind of stuff. You can buy labor. You can buy resources. You can buy power. How does that power argument have anything to do with the quality of your genetics? I mean, we have absolutely no evidence that power is inherited in that manner. It's not given to people in that manner. The guy who wins the gold medal, his kid doesn't usually win gold medals. It just doesn't happen. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that can be bestowed that way. And here, yet we have a society where the power, the people who hold the wealth, the Rothschilds and whatnots, the hundreds-of-year-old fortunes are still being handed to children who did nothing to earn it. Nothing. No merit whatsoever. Zero accomplishment. How is that good for the genetic pool? Isn't that more destructive than anything else? But yeah, fortunately they don't do much breeding either. Because again, they don't want their fortune consumed by those responsibilities. So anyway, we don't really need to do much more of this, do we? I mean, propaganda is just all over it, so, I mean, is there any, I mean, I guess I could play it and see if there's some other point, but there's really not going to be a point here, right? I mean, beyond just this superficial treatment of kind of an important subject, but still, I mean, this whole argument, you know, people want to turn this, this is men being stupid men, I guess. I mean, here they are again saying, I have to call it a circle and I have to call that one a square, so I have to make a conflict, I have to make a contrast, so I'm going to say that somehow women are some kind of problem. When, you know, devil, heal thyself. Look in the mirror, man. You're the problem. Throughout history, you've been a problem. You're assholes. Men are assholes. And so are women. Humans suck. Humans are stupid. You know, stupidity is the problem, not gender. I mean, if you're not stupid enough to realize you have a gender, it does fuck with you. And that those values or those sensations or those emotions that are associated with that gendering have a place in your personal life, but they don't have much of a place in any other kind of part of your conversation about reality. They're a reality for your personal life. You know, having a penis or not having a penis is going to change your personal life, but it doesn't have anything to do with the substance of your social life or your interaction with your intercourse in the communication of intelligence. And this guy just doesn't seem to get that at all, because this is all this is propaganda. Is another cheat, another cheater making a cheating argument in defense of cheating. Anyway, go women. Yeah, you know, if we decided tomorrow women can't vote, you know who's going to get elected? That crazy religious Republican kook. Yeah, so fuck men in the ass until dead. Anyway, till next time.